Time to throw those cowboy hats on and saddle up the cattle for the best insight into our local country musicians right here in Central PA and beyond on Soundcheck with Chase and Minnie. Now, here's Chase.
And we are off and running again with another episode of Soundcheck with Chase and, of course, with Minnie. Up to double digits. We are up to episode number 10, bringing your local musicians right here to your living room and diving a little deeper into what they do and also into their music, always giving you the best insight here into our local music artists. This week, we're kind of changing it up a little bit. Have a special guest. She has some ties to Nashville. A little more rock than country, and we're totally fine with that. She was up for Female Vocalist of the Year at the CPMAs. We're so excited to have Lancaster native Keri Edwards to Soundcheck with Chase and Minnie. Thanks for the time, Keri.
Thanks for having me. This is so exciting.
I guess the best part is to start at the beginning. Talk about where the love of music came from, how this all began for you. I know your father, Stu Huggins, he's a musician as well, big part of what you're doing now. Talk about his impact on your life and what you're doing now.
Well, yeah, I mean, for sure, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, you know. My brother was a Marine and my dad was a Marine, and my dad was a musician or is a musician and I am a musician, and so the joke is, you know, he had two apples, they landed on either side of the tree and did not roll.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
So I grew up watching him perform with his band and write songs, and I would sing harmonies with him in the living room. When I was 15, I started writing my own songs, and he kind of brought me in to his co-writing circle, which was just like this huge vote of confidence, you know, and it did so much as a young woman for my self-esteem, you know, like what more could you ask for from your father as a daughter, is to just kind of see something in you and be like, you know what, yes, and I'm going to bring you in as a professional into my professional world. Like, who can say that? You know, I can. And it means so much. So, started songwriting, started performing after high school. I was doing stuff with his band. He was taking me to Nashville, you know, so I remember as a little girl, I would fall asleep listening to the Susquehanna River Band albums.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
So talk about the genre of music that you actually grew up with your dad, and how that impacted of what you're playing now.
Country. I mean, I was raised on like Haggard and Jones country, you know,
Sure.
and for the most part, I was only allowed to listen to country. I mean, I always joke about that on stage. Wasn't super strict. Like on Saturday mornings, we would clean house with my mom and she would play oldies, you know, but otherwise, mostly like I wasn't allowed really to listen to a lot of current pop, you know, rock music, like FM 97. I was
Right.
Z107 all the way. And I think like that heavily influenced my music roots. You know, and as a songwriter, I like storytelling, and I lean towards more Nashville style melodies, and I write on my guitar. But as a teenager coming of age, I started I would sneak MTV and FM 97, which is our local rock station, in case some of your viewers aren't, you know, immediate to this area. Because I wanted to know what the kids at school were talking about, you know, and so I fell
Sure.
in love with, you know, Nirvana and Pearl Jam and also Jewel, you know, and Melissa Etheridge, and just some great 90s era music, you know. And then I also remember my parents had, you know, like a vinyl. We had one of those big pieces of furniture that had a record player in it. You know, so I remember listening on that to like John Denver and some of the James Taylor, some of those 70s folk hero greats, you know, of Americana music. And so then as a teenager, even though I loved, you know, the stuff I was sneaking, I also loved all that stuff that I had grown up on. And so if my friends were in my car, they were forced to listen to my CDs over and over again of James Taylor and Carole King and Carly Simon and Dan Fogelberg and John Denver. So I have all this vast array of musical influence, and it can be hard when somebody asks you your genre. You're like,
A little bit of a mix. A little
a
bit of
little
a
bit of
mix.
a mix.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
spent some days at FM 97 and also at the Z107 studios as well, working for 105.7 The X. So I know where you're coming from.
Yeah. Well, and funny enough, this one time when I was playing at Nisley Vineyard,
Oh, yeah. Yep.
apparently one of the gals that works there, she was the Z Bear.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I
Yep.
didn't know that. And she told me that because I had mentioned
Right.
this story and mentioned Z107 in my set. And then she told me on my break, she's like, I used to be the Z Bear. I was like starstruck,
Yeah.
like I hugged your knees. Like, what?
Talk a little bit about, Keri, your new chapter. I see your new chapter of your life. That's kind of what you're describing it as. You have some ties
Yeah.
down to Nashville. You put your career on hold, of course, to start a family. You have a fairly new band now. Discuss what this new chapter looks like for you. You kind of have a new outlook here on your musical career. How would you describe that?
Just, exciting. And I'm so grateful. I feel so blessed to be able to do this again. I don't shy away from sharing my age. I'm in my mid 40s. I'm 45. And, it's when my husband retired from the Air Force, because I had walked away from Nashville and the opportunities, and I had some pretty significant opportunities. I should say that part because I'm proud of those. I had some publishing contracts. I had a production deal. I was writing with prominent Nashville writers at the time, and talking to different publishing companies. And I mean, I had some significant opportunities thanks to my dad believing in me and making those trips with me. And it was a medical condition. We married young. He was my high school sweetheart, Eric, and my medical team recommended, we may want to start our family. And so we started it younger than we originally intended. But between, two dreams, music and motherhood, only one was non-negotiable for me. And so that's the choice I made. But at the time, I didn't know that if I would get to do this again, but I feel like, 45 is a lot younger than I thought it was going to be when I was, 23,
Sure.
and so he retired from the Air Force. The kids are a little older now, and I was like, it's my turn. I'm going to do this again. I'm going to give it another shot, and it looks different this time. I have more life experience. My songs are about different things, I'm a woman with more to say,
Right. I saw a show over at Twisted Vine over in Mount Joy of yours. You're very passionate when you're on stage. When you're singing, you leave it all out there on the stage. You're enjoying what you're doing. Talk a little bit about when it comes to your original songs. Discuss the process when you actually sit down, write your original music, where your thought process goes. And as you mentioned, it's a little different from years prior. So talk about where your mindset is right now when you're starting to write those songs.
Yeah, so, I think when I was younger, my mindset was kind of more about, some of my songs were deeply personal and some of them weren't. Some of them, it was just like trying to write what could be the next hit, like what was popular in Nashville at that point, or even trying to predict like what's going to become popular in the next wave, and just kind of trying to write for the industry.
Sure.
And having been away from it for so long, and coming back as an older woman, I'm not an older woman, but older than I was, a woman of a certain age, you kind of just are like, you know what? If it means something to me, it's going to mean something to someone else. So I'm not so concerned with writing the next hit, or writing what I think the industry wants. I just want to write what I want, what I want to hear, what I want to sing about, the stories that I want to tell. And it's going to resonate with someone, because this is the human experience that I'm writing about.
And when you were down in Nashville, too, just talk about your time down in Nashville. I mean, I'm sure you saw a lot of different genres of music. You saw a lot of artists down there. How did that affect what you're doing now?
I think going, when I was younger was very eye-opening. I'm actually getting ready to go next month with a friend, and that's going to be the first time in a long time. Although I have been talking to some people down there, so I'm sure it's changed quite a bit over the years. But the one thing that I doubt very much has changed is, you know, I feel like it's indie artists, singer-songwriters in their small pockets of small towns. We can get a little ahead of ourselves and think like, yeah, like I'm really good, like they say I'm good, I must be good, right? And then you go to a town like Nashville and you're like, whoa, I am a dime a dozen. Like, there's a lot of people with a lot of skill sets and talents, um, and I think as a young woman, it was a little overwhelming and I don't know, daunting, I think would be the right word. But now, as a woman who's lived some life, I think on one hand, yeah, it can be. But on the other hand, I think you kind of look around at other women and go, no, I think there's room for all of us at the table.
Right.
I think, and if there's not, we find a way to build a bigger table. Like everyone's got a niche to find. It might not, I might not sell out amphitheaters one day. Maybe it will. I don't know. But I'm just going to keep doing the next thing, and then the next thing, and then the next thing that it makes sense to do. I think at this point in my life, I'm just grateful to get to do it at all.
And there's so many artists here, not only in Central PA, but you see them down in Nashville, the different genres that are down there, different artists. Everybody's doing their own thing, has their own niche, like you mentioned. Your latest song is called Conqueror. It's a pretty powerful song. It's a pretty powerful message as well. Talk about how you came up with that one and the story behind it, because it's got a powerful message.
Thank you. Yeah, so that one, I have some phenomenal co-writers who happen to all live in Michigan. We met during the pandemic because I'm a member of, it's called NSAI, Nashville Songwriters Association International. I think I got that right. But during the pandemic, as originally they had all these in-person songwriters workshops at different chapters all over the country. And then all of a sudden, you couldn't meet in person. And so they switched over to Zoom calls. And when they did that, they decided to open all the chapter Zoom calls up to anyone who wanted to join them. So as my husband, we were starting to discuss retirement, and I was still writing songs. And so I decided, I was going to look into the NSAI. Somebody had reached out to me that I'd, from a different time and said, hey, did you know NSAI's on Zoom calls now? And I was like, really? So I checked it out and I joined this mid-Michigan chapter that was doing a co-write workshop. And I met some co-writers. So now like my primary co-writers are all in Michigan and I'm here in Pennsylvania.
Wow, that's awesome. Wow.
But all that to say, and they've become just dear friends. Like it's like a sisterhood. One of them, her name is Kate Skidmore. And she was getting ready to do this, it was like a bike-a-thon or maybe like a 5-10K, something like that. She was doing some kind of a race. And she really wanted one of our songs specifically to have in her playlist that was like, that would pump her up to run this race, right? And so we got to work on it, and my big thing was that, okay, but it has to be like, there's so much potential with a song like that. It's like a big metaphor. It's got to be a solid metaphor just for life, for overcoming hard things, and at the time it was kind of a recent transition out of the pandemic, and like, so it was like overcoming hard things together, and that's really the heart of the song. Like, yeah, it can literally be about running a race, but also it can be about, a long-term relationship overcoming ups and downs and odds, or it can be I don't know, earning a degree and taking years to get there, but
Right.
with the support of your friends and your family and your study groups and your professors. I mean, there's so much room for interpretation in a song like this, and that's what I love about it.
Yeah, and it always could have a bigger meaning to somebody else when you hear the song,
Yeah.
but it's a great message. It is a great song. I want to go back
Thank you.
about 2 years ago when you did Letters to Freedom, the movie, back in 2023. That was pretty incredible. You did a song there, Fall for You. You also did
Yeah.
a music video, which was truly amazing. You filmed it right there on the battlefields of Gettysburg. It's kind of a two-part question, maybe three parts to this one. How did you get involved with the film? Also, the song is pretty amazing in itself. Talk about the thought process behind that song and how much fun was that just to film it on the battlefield in Gettysburg and then do it for the film itself. And it's another one of those songs that you're singing that has a pretty powerful meaning behind it.
Yeah. And it's, you were describing everything, and I just got like this wave of goosebumps because
Yeah,
it's
the
such
chills.
a cool memory.
You do
Really
when
is.
you watch the video. You actually do. You do.
It just, it was great. So here's the thing, like, you never know who you're going to meet, when, and where. So as it
Sure.
turns out, I was playing one of my favorite venues locally. It's called Old Republic Distillery, and it's in Ephrata. If you haven't been, you got to go. They have the best seasonal cocktails and the most amazing staff. I love them there. And anyway, I was playing a gig on a Saturday afternoon, and the filmmaker's name is Joshua Williams. He's from Philly. I believe he went to film school in New York, and during the pandemic, he moved to the Ephrata area. And it's a independently produced film. He worked his tail off raising funds for it, investing his own money. It turned out so great, and the message is just stunning to me.
Powerful. Yeah.
Of
powerful.
the film. And but he saw me perform at a gig, just me and my guitar, and I did, all my favorite covers, but I also did some originals, and he was really impressed with them. And he approached me afterwards, and it was so funny because, he introduced himself, said he was a filmmaker, and I'm like an Ephrata PA, right? So in my head, I'm like,
I'll be working with Kevin Costner
Isn't that
soon.
terrible? Okay, sure you are. But shook his hand, was polite, I'm like, oh yeah, we
Right.
should, and he said, I wish I would have met you sooner because I have this film that I'm just finishing up and the score is finished, but I would love to have a song like for the credits that is like reflects the heart of the film. And so I just said, well, maybe, tell me more about it. We can be in touch after this. And like kind of really in my head, still just like, okay.
Right.
But then he did reach back out and like I checked him out online and I was like, oh no, he's a filmmaker. Like he's a legit dude. And so I said, well, what exactly are you looking for and how much time do we have? It may not be too late. I can present this to my girls. We call ourselves the Power Pack,
There you go.
because we say we're better together, rise higher together, stronger together. We all have different strengths that we bring to the table, So he said he was looking for a song that was about unconditional love that can overcome anything. My dog is sighing loudly over here. I don't know if it came through, but anyway, unconditional, powerful love that can overcome anything. Because the film was about a white Southern woman and a black Union soldier during the Civil War era. And he was the former slave of her father. They grew up together, and it's their love story. And it's inspired by real events.
Wow.
So cool. So I presented it to them, and we got to work on it. And my producer, Lori, man, she knocked it out of the park with the production. And, we brought to him initially, like lyrically, what we came up with, and he loved it. And then kind of gave us some feedback on the production style. He was looking for like really kind of cinematic and orchestral, which is a little outside of my normal wheelhouse, but, it was what the film needed. And Lori just it was awesome. It was a process, but it was amazing. And you've heard the end result, and we got to do the music video, like you said. He filmed this music video for me as a thank you, for doing the song, and I mean, everything just came together so seamlessly. I think that one of the funny things about it was, like, I felt so I had a makeup artist and everything, right? And it was like, I have arrived.
Right.
And then, like, 2 days later, I'm getting ready for my gig, doing my own makeup, and I'm like, oh, this sucks.
Back to reality.
Makeup artist all the time.
Right. The song itself is amazing, Fall for You. And then when you're actually watching the video, I mean, it almost takes you back to that era when you're watching the clips in the film. You have the violinist that's right next to you playing right there on the battlefield as well. It is amazing.
Kate's
If you have
daughter,
not,
Maria.
yes, if you haven't checked it out yet, you've got to check out the music video, because it kind of takes you back to that era of time, and just doing it right there on the battlefields of Gettysburg was pretty amazing too. Just talk about that aspect too, of just being at the battlefield and videoing that song. Got to be pretty amazing.
It was just, yeah, it was powerful, It was like everyone that was there just kind of knew the weight of that moment.
Right.
What we were singing about, what we were honoring. It was heavy, and it was real, and it was thrilling, and I'm really grateful that I got to do it.
You got to check it out over on YouTube. I think I've watched that video probably about 10 times since I contacted you about doing the interview, because it is simply an amazing video, an amazing song. Check it out over on YouTube. Your husband, as you mentioned, retired from the Air Force.
Yes.
Huge thank you to him for his service and all that he has done. Just talk about that and how that has impacted your musical career, and some of the things that you maybe write down the road here now, as being, as you mentioned, an older woman now, reflecting on some of the time that he has had in the Air Force as well, and how that has impacted your musical career.
Yeah, well, I think the impact it had on my musical career is, we moved around a lot, and so it wasn't a great impact on my musical career.
Right.
But that's okay, because that wasn't my focus, for that season of life. My focus was the kids, and making sure that with every move they had as much stability as possible. And every time that he had to go away, I was home to provide as much stability as possible. And that's just what you do, and shout out to all my military spouse friends, because it's not easy. You hold down the fort at home while they're holding down the fort elsewhere, right? And at the same time, it was also a beautiful life. We made incredible, deep friendships with a lot of different people all over the place. And as did my kids. My kids are still in touch with some of their friends that they've made. I can remember my son moved with a buddy and his family, like, out to Colorado for a while after he graduated high school. He went and just kind of tested his wings a little bit, and it was like so hard for me as a mother, but it was a good experience at the end of the day. It was pretty cool to watch him, strike out for a little while. And but so he met his buddy. They were going to be going, his family, from, I think, Tennessee to Colorado. So he just had to get himself to Tennessee. And but it was like a further away part of Tennessee. It wasn't like, I mean, you can get to Tennessee in 8 hours, but where he was going was like the other side. So he went halfway, and then he just kind of looked to see who he might know in the area, because he's got friends everywhere, and so sure enough, found a buddy, crashed on his couch, and then hit the road the next day. It's kind of cool that they have so many people everywhere that it's neat.
You can rely on. Yeah, that's
so
pretty cool.
For my music career, I think, if anything, it's more so my songwriting. All of these experiences we've had over time, they kind of filter into your songwriting. And it's funny, I have these 2 songs I wrote about my husband that kind of bookend that season because I have a song that I wrote for him the night before he left for basic training, and I played it for him. And then I have another song that I wrote. It was at the very last place we were stationed, was Northern California. And so the first one's called Goodbye Baby. And it's just kind of about looking ahead to a lifetime together and just kind of trusting the Lord that he's going to be okay. And this, we're going to get through this period of separation and come back together, and it's going to be a beautiful life is really kind of the what the lyrics mean. And then this other song, at that point, 20 years later, it's called The Mountain and the Ocean. We lived in Northern California, and we took this trip down the Pacific Coast Highway, and I just remember standing at the top of like this cliff, this mountain, and you look out and it just drops off to the ocean. It's not like moseying out onto the beach in Ocean City, it's dramatic. And I had this thought wash over me, after all this time has gone by, that the mountain reminded me of my husband, and the ocean reminded me of me, because the mountain was like sturdy and strong. The ocean's out there just kind of wild and unpredictable and crashes into the side of the mountain, and the mountain can just kind of take it, Right. But they're always like side by side right there. And so it's interesting perspective just to have those two love songs, and how one looks ahead so with so much hope, and the one looks back with so much reverence.
It could be another movie down the road too.
Yeah, it could be. I have to talk to Josh
Sounds
about
like a movie.
writing my story.
There you go. That's right.
But
that's right.
It's also really kind of cool to see the differences in like the way my songwriting developed in that period of time. The original one is definitely very like 3-chord country, a more simplistic melody, just younger, a little less developed. And the newer one, it's got a bigger melody, it's got a bridge, it's got a it modulates here and there. It's just a little more intricate of a song.
And a lot of folks too are waiting for an album from you. Any talk about a debut album here coming out here soon for Keri Edwards? Do we have something in the works?
Yes, it's something in the works. Yep. Still, right now I'm in the process of talking to a local producer, Bobby Gentilo. He owns Right Coast Recording in Columbia. So talking to him, working on kind of narrowing down my song choices, deciding, do I want to write anything new for it? In the early stages, but yes, I would love to do an album. And in the meantime, I have a couple more singles lined up to kind of space out, to buy me some time to do this album.
All right. That's exciting. So something in the works from Keri Edwards. Stay tuned for that on all our social media and also online as well. Before we get to some of your music, you're going to play something for us here because you're going to be gracious enough to get out the guitar and play something for us here on Soundcheck with Chase. I want to talk about the ladies that are in your band. You guys are fairly new together, forming the band. Heather and Deb, all three of you, such a good mix when you're on stage. Talk about how that came to be, of getting Heather and Deb in the mix of things, and you launching out and saying, hey, let's get into this band thing. Because you used to be a solo artist. You still do some of your solo artist stuff at the local clubs, local bars, and that sort of thing. But just talk about how that came to be and forming the band.
So Deb had reached out to me. She had a band for, oh my goodness, what did she say? Maybe 12 years or more, called Steel Radiance. They've got a large following in this area. They were beloved, but they were coming to like the end of their chapter, and not for any negative reason. It was just time for some of the older members to move on from the band, and she still wanted to play. She liked being in an all-girl band, and she wanted to do that again. And it just was kind of the right timing because I was just arriving at this conclusion of like I kind of want a band. Like I want to start a band because there's just like there's some places around here that I couldn't play because they only work with bands. And then there's some, bigger things I'd like to be able to do that you kind of need a band to do. So just we started talking about that. We got some ladies together, jammed out a little bit one night, and Heather, my bass player, was there, and she actually is a guitar player. That's her first language. But she had been talking about learning the bass, picking that up too, and so it gave her a reason to do it, and she did, man. She plays the bass and she does it well, and yeah, so we've just been having a lot of fun.
You are going to be gracious enough to play a little something. Tell us what you're going to play, where the song came from, if it's an original song or if you're going to do a cover song. We got to ask before you play anything, what is your number one favorite cover song that you play currently? Tough
I don't
decision,
know.
right?
That's a hard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
now you just did a killer version of Mary Jane's Last Dance. I just did see that. That was pretty epic. I got to say that was a really good one.
Yeah.
Yes, I did see that one. That was pretty epic.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, most of the songs I play, like some of the songs that I've learned with the band, I learned them because like Deb knew them from her band, and they were like crowd pleasers, and I was like, we'll throw them in there. But for the most part, especially as a soloist, if I'm playing it in my set, it's because I could probably tell you a story about it, of how it impacted my life, whether it was just rocking out to it with my friends, some of these 90s covers that I love to do, to, like there's a Waylon Jennings song, Rose of Paradise, and I played that song at tent parties and sleepovers as a teenager. We'd cram 8 girls into a 6-person tent and get the guitar out and have a sing-along, and that song's like kind of like a creepy ending, and so like young teenage girls, it was like, oh my gosh, it's such a great story, like spooky, and he got away with it. And so in spoiler alert, the banker kills his wife and buries her in the garden.
Right.
But so I tell about, tent parties and sleepovers and playing these songs with my friends. And then I break out Church Bells after that one by Keri Underwood, because that's like the same story, right? Rich man marries a beautiful woman, but
it all goes together.
Not good to her. Yeah, and then she kills him.
Right.
So
right.
Better ending.
Right.
But yeah, so like there's always like a story to tell. I do the songs I do because I love them. I don't know if I could pick a favorite.
No favorite.
On any given night, my favorite that night would be whatever one the crowd loved the most.
Right.
Mary
Jane's Last Dance, the cover by Tom Petty, was pretty amazing. That was absolutely amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a fun one to do.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
I bet. It looked like it.
I think that was at Stoner Grill that you saw that. Yeah. Hey.
So you tell us what you're going to play, and
Well, so what I was saying is I was going to do some other ones, but now I'm like, maybe I should do those ones that we talked about, that the book ended my husband's career, because I discussed him so much. The story is kind of already told. So maybe I'll just do that.
Okay.
I'll just do like maybe half of the first one, and then I'll do the mountain and the ocean. I'll do all of that one.
Awesome. Okay. Here's Keri Edwards.
I haven't done this one in a while, so hopefully hopefully I remember this one. It's been a minute. The first one's called Goodbye Baby. Goodbye is a word some people don't like to say, 'cause they don't know what it means when it's said between two people so in love. It begins to mean everything. It's said with the depth of emotion that sets a devotion that bonds us while we're apart. It keeps us holding on. So goodbye, baby, I'll see you soon. And it won't be long until I'm by your side again. And while you're gone, I'll be dreaming sweet dreams of you, holding me tight all of our lives, saying my name. As I look into your eyes, I pray the Lord will bless you and keep you safe for me. So goodbye, baby. Ooh. So there's that.
Now,
All
I gotta ask you on that one. How long did it take you to write that song?
Well, I wrote
Any idea?
that night before he left, so maybe 30 minutes.
Wow.
We were 18. Yep.
Wow.
We were young,
Wow.
just babies. I think this one took a little longer. This one took maybe, I don't know, 2 hours, something like that.
I thought you were gonna say a couple days.
No,
No.
but so, that happens though. That definitely happens.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You are my mountain, strong, sure, steady through and through. Imposing tower, all who gaze upon you marvel at the view. If the earth you loom above begins to shake, you barely sway in the chaos of the quake. You are immovable, you never bend or break. Like the ocean, I flow to your shores. I have waves of vast emotions, and I'm sometimes insecure. You rise to greet me and watch me swirl around. Confident, I am tethered to your ground. We never part, we are connected, we are bound. The mountain and the ocean. You are my rock, sturdy as I crash into your side. Over time, I am softening your roughest parts and smoothing jagged lines. We've weathered every kind of earthly storm. It's a supernatural bond that we have formed. You are my mountain, forever I am yours. Again and again we collide, as you withstand my ever-changing tide. You are the fortress, I'm the mistress, and together we abide. Like the ocean, I flow to your shores. I can be violently brooding, yet possess a soft allure. You rise to greet me and watch me swirl around. Confident, I am tethered to your ground. We never part, we are connected, we are bound. The mountain and the ocean. The mountain and the ocean. I am majestically moving. You are foundational to me. The mountain and the ocean. I am majestically moving. You are foundational to me. The mountain and the ocean. I am majestically moving. You are foundational to me. The mountain and the ocean. mountain and the ocean.
I love the lyrics on that one. Really do. Love the lyrics.
Thank you.
Well done. Well done.
Thank you.
Keri Edwards, ladies and gentlemen, in YouTube world. We're going to switch gears a little bit, Keri. You have a strong conviction for women's rights activism. You have a special link on your site as well where ladies can get more information. Different organizations that are out there discuss your involvement and more about the great cause that you're supporting, of course, online.
I wrote I Am Woman after SCOTUS overturned Roe. And that whole event, that kind of just sparked something in me, just looking at my own daughter, wondering about her future and her friends' futures, and just thinking about, like, and I know it's a contentious issue. Some of your viewers might not appreciate these sentiments. And I will say, I understand the ideal. I do. You know, and there was a time when I was staunchly pro-life. And at the end of the day, I believe I still am, really. But my definition of what that looks like has changed. And it's just not black and white. And sometimes girls and women need protection, too. It's just not cut and dry and simple. And in a perfect world, abortion and it could be done away with in a perfect world, but it's not a perfect world. And so, you know, I felt like we had come a certain distance, and there are women who fought for those rights, and then it's like big step back, you know. So I wrote that song with my producer, and was recorded and released. And I've made a beautiful, to me, lyric video for it by reaching out to women in my life, strong women, and had them send me pictures of them in moments where they felt good, you know, or empowered. And some of them it was cancer treatment, coming out of cancer treatment. Some of them it was running a Tough Mudder. You know, some of them it was dancing. One of my friends, two are electricians, you know, and it was them at work. Some of them, it was with their daughters. So just beautiful. I have goosebumps just talking about it. Beautiful moments of beautiful women in that video. And then I was talking to, equal means equal.org. And they made it their theme song. And their goal is, among other things, the ERA, the Equal Rights Amendment. It's been over 100 years now that it was written. Wow. And it's just like this no nonsense about it. Why isn't it law? It seems so absurd that it isn't, and it isn't. And it's enough states now have, I'm trying to remember, I'm going to mess up the language, but it ratified it, or it should be ratified. Enough states have signed on, and it's still just sitting there. So I got to perform that song out in front at a march in front of the Library of Congress. That was pretty exciting. Just to kind of have that moment to feel like I'm trying to do something, you know, trying to do something. And if everybody just tries to do something, maybe we'll get something.
You can link up if you ever need that information. It's all on Keri's website as well. We'll get to that a little bit later on. Not only are you a singer, songwriter, performer, you kind of have a second job as well. You're co-founder of Power Pack Studios with Paige and Kate alongside the founder, Lori. Full service studio from beginning to end. Talk about that endeavor with them and kind of the other side of the business that you're kind of diving into there.
Yeah, so that came about just in an effort. Like I said, we call ourselves the Power Pack because we're stronger together. And that kind of ties into my passion for women and women's rights and female empowerment in general. You know, we do rise higher together. And I don't know why, just sometimes it seems like our society kind of pits women against each other. And that seems so ridiculous.
Yeah.
But, you know, we joined forces. And we've been studying the sync industry and making connections there. And the sync industry, I should clarify, is music in TV, film, and advertising, even in things like video games. Like if it's media that can be consumed and there's music in it, that's the sync industry, music and media, basically. And it's its whole like division of the music industry, and it also is like very relationship driven and getting to know people and building your web, and there's so much to learn about it, just from how to make initial contact to making sure your song is situated properly with the right metadata, so when they're searching for a song for their project, maybe your song populates in their catalog. There's so much that goes into it. So we've been working together, and we have we had a song in Letters to Freedom. We have another one in a film that I think it's currently making the film festival rounds, or they're applying for those things. We had a song in a short film. And, at this point now we're starting to make some of those relationships with actual like sync industry agents and people that own music catalogs that shop those songs around for us. Shout out to Sherry Orson of Star Vibe Group out in Los Angeles, and Brian Hinckley up in Boston. He owns Gratitude Sound, and he's, sent us a couple opportunities our way this year. And let's see, John Vine Street kind of took me under his wing out in LA. He's a consultant out there, and he's amazing. And so many people that, been talking to an agent Jim Thacker, he's, I think it's Kazan Music Group, and he's actually based in Nashville. But he does a lot of stuff in that industry. So just making some like really good connections. And I think I've said this before, I think what I love about this industry is because it's relationship driven, you end up working with people that you would want to be friends with anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
and I just think it's so cool. We've learned a lot. Sync Summit, Mark Frazier, he does Sync Summit. So if anybody, like if there's other artists out there, looking to learn more about these things, I would check that out. I would definitely check out Sync Summit and Mark Frazier. He offers a lot. We've met some really great people through him.
It's pretty awesome that you get to learn both sides of the music industry, not only just the singing, songwriting, performing side of it, you also get the full aspect on the other side as well. Where would you say in 5 years do you see your music career down the road here in 5 years? Do you have any goals of making that next step to the bigger stages, or is it just playing here at local bars and clubs and just you're happy with that portion of the performing aspect of it?
No, I will keep trying. I mean, I'm loving playing here, don't get me wrong, but I will keep trying to get on the next bigger stage, and connecting with the next size audience. It's indescribable, even at a small local gig, when you get up and you play one of your original songs and you look out and there's people singing along to your song. Nothing like that. Nothing like that. I just saw on Apple Music, they have like a stuff you can watch, and I watched Gracie Abrams play the Red Rocks, and I just the camera followed her out, like as she walked out onto the stage with her guitar, and it kind of panned around and showed you like what she was looking at,
Right.
So she gets up to the mic and she turns, and there's the crowd, there to see her and sing along with her and have this whole amazing experience with her. Like, I would do that. I would love that. That's amazing. Like, I actually cried for her, like so happy for her, because you could see her face was just like, wow. Like, it was a moment, it was a moment. And on a smaller scale, I have those small moments of when I look out and there's somebody singing my song, or there's an older couple and I play The Mountain and the Ocean, and like he's wiping a tear, like, oh my
Right. Yeah.
gosh, I have
Right.
goosebumps. Like, it's just, it's the connection. Oh, it's so powerful, whether it's in a local bar room or on a huge stage. It's so powerful. So yeah, I'm gonna keep trying. I don't know. I can't make that prediction, 5 years from now, but um, I I'll release an album by then for sure, and and hopefully, yeah, I'll be on some bigger stages. I would love that.
Has that always been your mindset to get to that bigger stage?
When I was younger, definitely. Now, Keri Edwards 2.0, the mindset is, and I think I alluded to it earlier, I'm just going to keep taking the next step it makes sense to take. I'm just going to keep going through the next door that opens. I'm not going to stop. I'm just going to see where it goes. And if I am blessed enough to play on a really big stage somewhere, awesome. And if it only goes halfway that far, awesome. I'm still playing on a stage somewhere.
And that's a good outlook to look at it as, too. I mean, a lot of folks have those bigger aspirations, never get there, but a lot of Central PA artists have gotten there. So we wish you nothing but the best of luck.
This area, Central Pennsylvania, man, we're just like saturated with awesome talent.
Yeah.
We really.
Is there
we make
anyone
some good
local?
ones.
Is there any one local artist that you look up to or see maybe taking that next step that could be next from our area?
Oh man. I mean, there's so many great artists, That's a hard one. I know I hear a lot about, I see Jess Zimmerman doing a lot, she's going down and doing a lot of cool things.
Just hosted her Christmas show on Saturday night over at Mickey's Black Box. I was just the host over there for her Christmas show over there. So it's a lot of fun every year, and they're always right there at that tier. There's so many great artists here in Central PA that you never know
really
who's going
is.
to take
And
on
then I
next
want to
league.
also, there's another two young gals, and they're young. They're like when I was starting out, I was their age, like early 20s. Stars in Sapphire.
Okay.
They're pretty great. Yeah, you should definitely check them out. They write their own stuff and they produce their own stuff, and they're playing some pretty cool gigs, and they're kicking butt. I'm watching them online, and I'm just like, oh, girls, man, this is great.
That's
it's
awesome.
so cool to see.
That's awesome.
So
That's awesome,
I
right?
think that they're going to go somewhere. I do think they're going to get somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Before we wrap it
check
up,
them out.
Keri, here on the podcast Soundcheck with Chase, let's get into some fun stuff. What was the last song that you listened to that wasn't rock?
The last song I listened to that wasn't rock
I'm sure it wasn't Merle Haggard.
would have to be. You never know. I'm trying to think. What did I most recently listen to? Like over the weekend, it's so funny. I'm like, what was the playlist I was listening to? Like this morning when I was stretching and like yogaing, I was listening to like a meditation playlist.
That'll work. That works. That works. That works. It's not rock.
I mean,
It's
I
not
really
rock.
listen to so many kinds of music. Probably, I listened to Carole King the other day
Okay.
when
that's
I
a
was
good
in
one.
my car. Played Carole King on Apple Music, so probably the Tapestry album. I was listening to that. That's not rock. I mean,
Right.
maybe, but not like today's rock.
If we got in your car right now, what would you
I'm
be
still
listening to in your
like,
car?
I listen to news podcasts a lot.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right.
But when I'm
okay.
listening to music, yeah, I do. Maybe part of that is just my passion for women's empowerment, and so I try to stay aware.
Sure.
But otherwise, like if I'm listening to music, I don't know. It just depends on my mood. Christmas carols this time of year. We were listening to Christmas carols yesterday while my husband and I were wrapping presents,
Awesome.
trying to get a jump on things.
Right.
So Christmas carols. But otherwise, yeah, like sometimes driving and I'm like, Siri, play Pearl Jam. And another day it's Siri, play John Denver. A lot of times, there's a friend of my dad's that put his old river band albums on YouTube. So I'll put those on and listen to those and sing along.
Nice.
Takes
Do you
me
have
back.
do you have a go-to
Yeah.
food after a show at all?
Whatever's in the fridge, honestly, because I can't eat very much before and during my shows because it's more like the adrenaline kind of can kill your appetite, and also it's harder to sing on a full belly. I mean, it's like running on a full belly. It's such a workout to stand and play and sing, and if you eat too much, it kind of makes you sluggish. It's hard to take those deeper breaths. So I don't eat a lot during, but then when I get home, I'm like so hungry. I just open the fridge. I'm like, what do we have? Whatever leftovers are available.
Take it all.
Just give me all the food.
Right.
Yeah. I eat so much when I get home from my gigs.
Carrie, let folks know where they can find your music, your socials, your website, all that good stuff. Also, where they can maybe catch you here before the Christmas holiday next week.
Next weekend, on the 26th, day after Christmas, I'll be at Old Republic Distillery from 6:30 to 8:30. So you can see what I'm talking about, how lovely the staff is there, and how
Right.
amazing the cocktails are there. They're awesome.
Right.
And then the 27th, equally awesome. But you can bring your kids to Old Republic, it's early enough. This one is a really cool place. This is the King George Speakeasy. And that one's 8 to 11. That one's in York. Old Republic's in Ephrata. King George is in York. That's under Two Tonys. Ash is the bartender down there. She's great. She makes a killer bee's knees.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's where I'll be playing.
Look her up.
Not this weekend, but next weekend. So my social media, the easiest thing to do is probably to go to KeriEdwards.com. My schedule's there. There's links to my Facebook, my Instagram, my YouTube, I think maybe Spotify or Apple, something. But you can find, my music is on all of the streaming platforms. There's a couple radio stations that play it. So shout out to Music to Dance to Radio, m2d2radio.com. And they're also on iHeart. They play my music. Trop Rock Radio, you can check them out online. They play one of my songs, Wild and Dreamin', and I'm so grateful. MyRuralRadio.com, they play some of my music. So these indie radio stations that support indie artists,
That's exciting.
they mean so much
That's
to
exciting.
us. I'm so grateful. So I want to thank them. But yeah, so you can find most things at my website. But if you're on Instagram, it's just at Keri Edwards Music. And same with Facebook and YouTube. Everything's Keri Edwards Music. The main thing is you got to spell my name right.
With one R.
It's
With one R. With one R.
K-E-R-I. And it's like, no matter how many times I say it, someone will still
Gets
spell it
spelled wrong. All right, Carrie. Well, we wrap this up in a unique kind of way. I'm not sure if you saw any of the other episodes of Soundcheck with Chase. We wrap it up with this or that. So I give you two choices.
Okay.
You get to pick one of the choices. It might be the hardest questions you're going to get the whole entire time here. So when you're ready,
All right.
I'm ready. You ready to do this?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go.
Ready as I'll ever be.
We're going to start this off easy. Christmas or Halloween?
Christmas.
Tom Petty
Christmas.
or Bruce Springsteen?
Well,
They get harder as we go.
I don't cover any Springsteen. I love listening. I haven't covered any, so I'll say Petty.
Okay. Since you're in Lancaster, we're going to throw this one in there. The Red Rose Drop in Lancaster on New Year's Eve or the Big Ball in New York City?
Oh. Probably Lancaster. I'm a
Lancaster
hometown
over
girl.
New
And
York.
that-
Okay.
Well, that crowd freaks me out. Like,
Yeah.
it's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
if you mean, like, performing for,
Taking New York City all the way.
yeah, I'll start here. I'll do a year here, and then take me to New York, and I'll do up there.
Yeah, absolutely. Playing a live show indoors or outdoors?
Oh, well, this time of year, indoors.
Right. To stay warm.
But I love, in nice weather, I love outdoor shows. It's really fun. In some places, you're playing and there's, people that walk by and stop to watch for a little bit. And so sometimes you can get, depending on where you're playing, you can get like kind of extra little crowds here and there. So that's fun.
And the last one could be probably the toughest one of them all. And you could always say neither. You could always say neither on this one. Solo shows or with the girls?
I think it depends on the venue. I have so much fun with the girls, so it is hard. It is hard to pick. It depends on the purpose and the nature of the show. Really, that's that one's a harder one to choose. Both shows in both worlds and both types of crowds and both types of stages have different benefits and scratch different itches.
Sure.
In my heart,
Sure.
So I would have to say, I won't say neither. I'll just say both.
That's a good answer.
How about that?
This has been so much fun, Keri. Thanks for the time. We wish you nothing but success as you move forward here in that new chapter of your music career. Happy holidays to you,
Chase.
your family. Hopefully we can do this again down the road. Thanks for being a part of Soundcheck with Chase and Minnie, and happy holidays.
Thank you for having me, Chase. This was awesome. Merry Christmas, happy holidays.